Oh my God, your poor dad.
I'm telling you, I swear the whole bit was... We'll ask the listeners, okay?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
What we're talking about?
Welcome back to Your Poor Dad. You can't choose your sisters, but you can choose your podcast. So thank you for joining us and being the fourth Brant sister.
Welcome back, baby.
So, usually Baily says this, but...
And usually Baily's the talker of the podcast.
Yeah, Baily's usually so chatty, but this week is going to be a little different because she doesn't have a voice.
No, I'm on vocal rest now, so I'm gonna...
I know we really need you to be on vocal rest for your big shows that you have coming up.
I hope you guys can pull your weight this week.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, honestly, your voice is kind of paining. It's the sound of it is stressful because it sounds like you're in pain.
No,
I should not have gargled those cheese graters this morning.
No, it sounds like she's got some sticky shoes.
I wish that's what I sounded like. There's no good in it.
So she's not going to be really talking that much. But you know what we were just talking about is that her voice reminds me of that commercial from the 90s. And I don't know if our listeners will remember this, but it was one of those DARE and DARE.
Drug abuse resistance education.
Right. And it's to teach you not to smoke. And the lady's she's and then she's literally gasping for air out of a hole out of the base of her throat.
Because it starts with just her talking.
Yeah, and then you're just why is she talking like that?
You're what's about to happen?
So picture Baily's voice right now, and then picture the camera panning away, and then it reveals a tiny hole at the base of her throat that is just that's her air. Or I don't know, is it her air?
Yeah.
It's her air. It's her
but she's
speech.
She's swallowing. Everything looks painful. And then what does she do with that? And so you're getting the vibe okay, wow, smoking did this to this woman. Then she takes a cigarette and places it to the tiny esophageal hole at the base of her throat, and she smokes out of it.
And you know what? I've actually never smoked a cigarette.
You had no desire to smoke a cigarette, but we were just saying do you think they were kind of lying about that? Because have you ever seen a person ever that had that besides that lady?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they were not lying.
Okay, but exaggerating?
I think it was terrifying.
I don't think that was just from smoking.
I think that it is one extreme of what can happen if you smoke. Obviously,
it's 1 in a billion chance.
I don't know.
They're 1 in a billion. It could still happen.
Here's the thing: just because I watch Grey's Anatomy does not mean I'm a doctor. So I don't know how common that is.
Grey's Anatomy is literally the worst example to bring up because Grey's Anatomy will show you a disease that is happened one time in the last 100 years.
And they're yeah, we can get that tumor.
They're oh yeah, actually in medical school,
no one else in the entire United States and world can get this tumor, but guess what? Derrick Shepherd can.
Guess what? Derrick Shepherd's the only person that's ever been trained on this one tumor.
Actually, speaking of Derrick Shepherd, did you know that he's the sexiest man alive?
Yeah.
Isn't that random?
Well, because it's corrupt. Sexiest man alive is corrupt. I'm sorry. Out of this year, in the year of our Lord 2023, Derrick fucking Shepherd.
Well, so that's why. So the only thing I don't know, but the only thing that I know of,
People magazine.
There's a scary movie that's coming out called Thanksgiving.
Right.
That he's in.
That's the only reason.
That has to. It's
okay, so let's be honest.
Who makes Thanksgiving? It has to be the same people that vote for Sexiest Man Alive.
Well, I don't think. Let's be honest. Nobody's voting for Sexiest Man Alive because Derrick Shepherd was not the man of the year.
He's a very attractive man.
No, of course he is. But
I would expect him in his heyday of Grey's Anatomy.
No, he should have been Sexiest Man Alive literally in 2004. And I'm not saying he's not still sexy. It's just the sexiest man alive.
The relevancy.
It should be a relevant thing. And yes, I guess you can say he has a scary movie coming out, but it's not the movie of the year.
And it hasn't come out yet.
And if we're being honest, Travis Kelce should probably have gotten it this year.
Well, or I don't know when voting happens. If it would have happened before the Travis Kelce of it all, Pedro Pascal.
We probably were watching the same Instagram story because we're literally just both regurgitating the things that were on.
Oh my gosh, that's funny because that means my friend watched that Instagram story because...
What friend is it?
Patrick.
Does he follow? No, he probably doesn't follow Liz.
I don't think so. He gave me 5 other guys that make more sense
And this is not to say that Patrick Dempsey is not
He's
a
so
very
attractive.
sexy man,
It was
but
just
he's not the
confusing.
sexiest man alive of 2023, because I think that it should go down to like, it's almost like man of the year. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it should be like man of the year, like who's having the year. And also like, don't you think it's like, it's 2023, like do we still need sexiest man alive? Like, come on.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anywho, yeah, so cheers to him, I guess. Also, what is the most, like, what from Grey's Anatomy do you remember the most? Because,
Like,
like,
you know that we're rewatching it, right?
And I remember everything. Paige doesn't know one thing that has ever happened on that
It's
show.
almost like I'm watching it for the first time
okay,
again.
so for me, like, the two things that, like, my Roman Empire for Grey's Anatomy by far is the girl who gets in the boat accident and they can't figure out who she is because her face is, like, literally swollen so much. And then the doctor falls in love with her.
Rebecca.
And it's
Ava.
It's Esme.
It's Esme.
Yeah. So that's my Roman Empire from Grey's. But that's not even a good one. I know there's like
that is a good one.
but like I know there's like a lot of like each episode there's like a very specific little thing where somebody's like having like some like little pain in their shoulder and it turns out like, oh, thank God the doctors found it because she had cancer that was about to blow up the hospital or something.
Yeah. I think for me, the top things for Grey's were Meredith drowning.
Same episode as
Same episode.
Yeah.
The shooting and the plane crash. And I'll tell you what, here's the thing that Baily really, because we finally just recently got to the plane crash episode, which I've been waiting for because I thought it happened a lot sooner than it did. And so
What season?
8.
Okay, I don't go that far.
So
It's crazy how I remembered. I thought that I stopped watching before 8, but I'm still going.
So I was waiting for it. We finally get there, and it's giving me everything that I was waiting for. I'm sobbing because Meredith's half sister. Spoiler alert!
And we know that
she dies. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
and
definitely
so
watched that.
I am in the moment. I am watching Meredith's sister die for the first time, and I'm sobbing. When I say sobbing, I am like, like I'm sobbing. And Baily, here's the thing that Baily says, takes me out of my moment. She's like, because as this girl's dying, she says, please tell my dad that I love him and please tell Meredith that I love her. And Baily goes, what about her other sisters? Because she
grew up with 2 other sisters her whole life.
She met Meredith like a year ago.
When she was like 24.
And so she had these 2 other sisters that she grew up with. And I never even thought about that. And Baily goes, what about the other sisters? And then it took me out of my crying moment. And I was like, what about the other sisters? Anyways, justice for those other sisters.
I know, like, please, you're dying and you think of Meredith Grey. Like, Meredith Grey is the equivalent of, like, Carrie Bradshaw. She's the most annoying.
No, honestly.
And the reason Meredith wasn't there for her to say it was because she had to go find Derrick. So
Of
Lexi
course.
died alone.
Of course.
No,
Literally,
Mark.
Meredith Grey is Carrie Bradshaw.
No, the reason she's not is because every single person on Grey's Anatomy is the most annoying person that's ever existed. I don't know why the characters, I mean, not the characters, why the writers made every single character so annoying. Because they did not do that with Sex and the City. Carrie was the main one that was annoying.
Well, they all were a little annoying, but it's like it appealed to women a little more. Hey, we're trying to record a podcast. Okay, so anyways, Meredith Grey equal to Carrie Bradshaw.
I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, they're both like are so annoying. They're both like the main character and they both are like obsessed with a man who like is so wishy-washy. They're both like stuck in eternal situationships. Maybe that's why our generation is obsessed with situationships because like that's what like we've seen.
Yeah.
Well, and as
She spilled all over.
I know. I saw that.
oh shit. And as I'm rewatching, I'm like, why did everyone ship Meredith and Derrick together? They were so awful to each other. And
Right.
he was so awful to her. And
And he
we
was married.
And we were supposed to be like, oh, endgame. I mean, thank God they were until,
It's Shonda Rhimes.
Anyways.
Also, have you guys ever seen Scandal?
I actually haven't, but
Scandal's really good.
I know that I would love that.
Scandal's really good. Have you seen Nip Tuck?
No.
If we're talking about dated shows that I watched when they were coming out, Nip Tuck is really good, but it might be a little too edgy for you guys because you guys are kind of like, I feel like you guys have, you know what your taste is?
I think I could handle the edge now.
Your taste I can only describe as like late 2000s, like Christian girlies.
It's like a nice glass of cold milk.
Yes. Exactly. Like you guys that like give like Christian girl autumn.
But you know why, right?
Why? Because
I cannot handle the anxiety of a new show. Like that's why.
What about like the OC?
I did, but the problem is the OC is new to me because I never watched it when it was out. So I'm up to season 4 of the OC, and I think there's only
4
5
seasons.
I was gonna say, I thought there was only 5.
No, there's 4.
Then I just need to finish it because I'm.
Well, no, you don't really need to bother with the 4th season because Marissa's not on there.
But that took me just as long because it's new to me. I like having a show that I already know that's just on because we'll watch it, but we'll also like watch it while we're doing other things.
You don't
That's why
know
I watch
one
The
damn
Housewives.
thing that happened in Grey's Anatomy.
What?
Even when we're watching it, you're like, I don't know who Brooks is. It's probably a firefighter.
Yeah.
It was one of the main characters.
Your voice is like giving me pain. I know. Yeah. Well, anyways, what else is going on, Paige?
Okay, well, I read Britney's book.
Oh, how was it?
I read the whole thing. And guess what?
You were either like reading a whole book in like 1 week or you're like not reading.
I'm not
ever.
reading for 2 years. I'll be honest, that's probably...
Okay, so what'd you think? Give us the highlights.
Okay, I actually have some notes because overall, I just have to say it was so sad.
That's what everyone's saying. And your wine, you are like literally, it keeps like flying
Well, I
all
already
over
spilled
you.
it all over myself. The highlights of my notes, it's just really sad. It's honestly heartbreaking how much she loved and still loves Justin.
You think she still loves him?
Jade.
What?
She said he went to see her in Kentwood after they break up. After the whole Crimea River thing, she's not doing well. She goes to Kentwood, blah, 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 whatever. Jade, he writes her a letter, but he frames it.
I heard this.
And she still has it under her bed.
That needs to go into a museum.
And
imagine how much
last,
that's worth.
The last words are, I can't breathe without you.
He said that?
Yes. He wrote the last sentence of that letter that he framed is, I can't breathe without you. So what the fuck? And she still has it under her bed. That is honestly heartbreaking. No wonder she's still in love with him because the last words of that fucking letter are, I can't breathe without you.
Okay. So do you guys remember there was this documentary that came out on Britney in 2008, and apparently it's been scrubbed from the internet, but this is like, if you're a true Britney fan, like, you know, that thing back to forward. And in that, she said that she was way more like fucked up from Kevin, but I think she had more of a heartbreak with Justin.
I think that it seemed, you have something to say?
I was gonna say, I feel like a part of her like died with him, and she like wasn't able to move past it. Like her childhood or innocence, like everything was just gone.
But
I'm not trying to be a bitch, but I think it's really hard to listen to you.
Do you want me to leave?
No.
No, I think you're fine.
Okay.
As 1/3 of this podcast, I totally think you're fine.
Okay.
I think that
I'm not trying to be mean
I
though.
know, but I can't sit here and just be quiet. I would rather leave.
I know, but can you try to
whisper because I said that and you said no.
Taking can
A
you
whisper.
talk like this? Okay.
I think you're fine.
Okay, you're fine.
But the thing about the whole innocence was she lost her virginity at 14, and which was wild to me. But she, in the book, was like, yeah, I did. I never said that I was this virgin girl. That was the image that, you know, her, I don't remember if it was her team. It was her team that, you know, and she's like, okay, whatever. But I agree with you that like a big part of her died because the other thing, Jade, did you know that when they were on the Mickey Mouse Club, her grandma, her mom's mom died. They did not have enough money, and Justin's mom paid for their plane tickets to go to the funeral. Like this was, and then years later when they're dating, she said that Justin's home, like his family, like that's where she would go for the holidays. Like that was home. Like that was what so it's like this relationship, this family that she would go to, like that was her comfort. Yeah. And then it was taken away. So I think Bailey is right. a part of her died, and then I think she was kind of
like searching
grasping
for another family.
Yeah.
And that's why she jumped into K-Fed.
Yes.
My hairstylist thinks that K-Fed was like a plant from the family. But I was like, the family didn't want her to marry Kevin.
The family did not want her to marry Kevin.
And I think if they wanted a plant, I think they planted plenty of men throughout the years to like date her. And I think that's what it would look like, a much more stable man. But I don't think they would plant Kevin.
I agree. A couple other highlights real quick besides the depressing stuff. What I loved how obsessed she clearly still is with Mariah Carey, because we're all so obsessed with her. Mm-hmm. The way she talked about Mariah Carey, she's like, it's not Mariah, it's Mariah Carey. And when I got my picture with her, she had the lights. Like it was really cute to hear her talk about that.
You know what? Mariah Carey does not like any other celebrity. Like she is very picky about who she likes, and she loves Britney. Every celebrity loves Britney.
And the last thing that I did not know, you might know, I don't know. I did not know that she was offered a role in the movie Chicago. And I wish that, because she said she would have been one of the women who kills a man and sings about it, aka he had it coming. Pop, like boom, our freaking favorite song from that musical. And I'm like, if that would have been crazy.
That would have been so amazing.
I know. And she said that's her only big regret.
Because didn't she say that Crossroads was like too hard on her because like she was like a method actor?
Yeah. And then did you see on TikTok?
I'm sorry, but method actor, like she was really reaching being that girl.
No, but did you see on TikTok, Taryn
Manning?
Yeah.
Taryn Manning, she's like, Britney, we had to shut down production because she broke out.
She had acne.
She had acne all over her face, a little pizza face.
That was wild.
Taryn Manning reminds me of somebody, and I can't put my finger on it. It's probably someone from our family.
Probably. The last thing I'm going to say, the part that actually gave me chills was when her dad said, I'm Britney Spears now.
I've heard her say that.
And that shook me.
Yeah, especially because he's such an evil person, and I think he has like evil running through his DNA. Like he comes from a line of evil.
And you know what? On the Britney thing, I'm glad I took these notes, because did you hear about Timberland?
What?
He hold on. Thank you. He made a comment and he said, talking about Britney, she's going crazy, right? I wanted to call JT, man, you got to put a muzzle on that girl. So he said that
when?
Earlier this week, and today or last night, I guess, he went on TikTok Live with an apology. And his apology was sorry to Britney fans, even to her. Saying, he's like, you have a voice, you should be able to say what you want. You speak what you speak. I shouldn't be able to say that, like, what you can or not. I was like,
how about you shut the fuck up, Timberland?
In what world did you think there wouldn't be backlash from Britney's fans?
Do you live under a fucking rock?
Britney,
where
or
you
any person put a muzzle
on that bitch?
I don't know if he said bitch. He said that girl.
That girl?
Yeah. She's going crazy, right? I wanted to call JT. Man, you got to put a muzzle on that girl.
I feel like he's living, like, does Timberland even know what year we're in?
But then also, I thought it was really interesting. I feel like that's such a big statement to make, especially about Britney's memoir. I feel like is pretty big right now, right?
So well, maybe he's coming at it from the lens of like being friends with Justin. Like, hey, Justin, like you got to put a muzzle on that girl.
He did Cry Me a River, so that's why it's like all resurfacing. But like, sorry, say that again. What was his take? Because there is no take. There is no like.
I think that he's probably trying to say like, oh wow, Britney is like putting Justin's name in the press in a bad way. So like, hey Justin, you got to call her and tell her to shut up. Basically, is what he's saying. And Timberland actually is the one that needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's just like embarrassing. And then I don't know why something about the apology being on TikTok Live is also embarrassing.
It's also so embarrassing. Like
him to throw in, oh, and even to her. Sorry to her fans, and I guess even to Britney.
Yeah, because
somebody from her team that needs a muzzle is me. I can't even talk.
Someone on his team was like, you don't understand like how much people ride for Britney. Like Justin's like the wrong side of history to be on. And I wonder what like Justin's doing. He's definitely laying low. That's which is the right thing to do for him right now.
I saw a headline, but I didn't read the article, so I don't know what to say. But the headline was something like Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake are having a hard time with all of these stories resurfacing from the memoir.
Here's my take. And this is just, you know, going on vibes. And I feel like I'm like, I can read a vibe pretty well through Instagram. And my take is that Justin is kind of aloof. And I think Jessica Biel is like very into being Justin Timberlake's wife. And I think Justin Timberlake's really into being Justin Timberlake, like a fucking loser. And I think that like she is probably so annoyed because she'll never be as big of a deal as like Justin and Britney. And yes, they have kids together. Yes, like I'm putting women against women. But like I feel like it's still a thing. And I think he can say it's not a thing as much as he wants, but I just know it's a thing.
I mean, it's obviously still a thing if she still has that framed letter under her bed.
Wow, that is psychotic to frame a breakup letter that you're giving somebody.
Right?
That is truly like psychotic. And the fact that, and this is, you know what, Britney's never had good taste in men. And people are like, I think Justin's the only one that she liked that was like a good person. But like that right there just shows you, she's literally on the floor crying, having an abortion, and he's playing the guitar, singing.
Well, and it made me sad because like from her view,
it's a nightmare.
From her view, it's like Justin's always been so good with his words, and then he's like, "Hey, baby, because I'm so good with my words, I had them framed for you." Like that's weird.
That's weird that she like likes it.
Well, she was just in love. Think about all the things you liked when you were in love.
Wait, I feel like we need to talk about the other day how you like totally brought me like I think I blocked out a lot of like the dumb shit I did with Colorado. And there was like, because there were so many times and so many signs of like I shouldn't have been with them. And then like
when you would book your flight on Southwest because you can cancel for free.
No. So one of the times he was like, oh yeah, like come out, visit me. I'm like, okay. I booked my flight like not even that far in advance. It was like 3 weeks. So I'm like, hey, I'm coming out in 3 weeks. Paige and Baily had come out to California, and I remember I was like sitting there and I was supposed to go out to Colorado the next week. And I like messaged him and I was like, hey, are like we still on? Because he just like stopped talking to me like that week, like literally just that week. And then this is how much he would gaslight me. He was like, yeah, like we haven't really been talking lately. So like, yeah, I kind of just assumed you weren't coming. Like I literally booked my flight like a week and a half ago, like truly crazy. And then I was just like, like, so mortified. My sisters are here, and Paige was like, what did you say to me?
I said something like,
why would you
book your flight? Like why would you go there if like clearly like this isn't a thing?
No, it wasn't that, because like we weren't even to that point of our relationship yet where it's like, why'd you book the flight? You were like, that's like really bad that he did that. And I was like, that's why I booked Southwest.
Oh yeah.
You were like, why? Like, that's bad that he would cancel the flight on you. And then me protecting him, I was like, that's why I booked Southwest.
I can cancel for free.
I can cancel for free. He does this to me all the fucking time.
And I was like,
that's like a fucking red flag.
That's like a big red flag.
Yeah, he would always gaslight me into thinking things like that were like normal. He was like, yeah, we like weren't talking. I'm like, oh, for like a few days? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just like assumed you weren't coming.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why you assumed that when you knew I booked my flight.
Yeah, like I was like literally in the Cal. Thank you. Yeah. Speaking of exes, did you know it's my like 5-year Divorce-ary anniversary?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
How does that feel?
It feels wild because like, first of all, it was crazy because like I am 35 right now, and 5 years ago I was 30, and that it feels like I am like, what
is math?
But it's like, but it feels like I am 30 now. Like when people like ask me how old I am, I'm like, I'm 30, but like I'm not. I'm 35. Mm-hmm. It's weird to think about that though. Like, you know, when you like think you're like oh yeah, 30 wasn't that long ago.
Well, for me, it wasn't.
For me too.
Well, you're not even 30. Squeaky.
For you, it's funny.
I know.
We can call her Weezer.
Weezer.
God.
But it's wild because so I was listening to the Mean Girl podcast, and Alex Bennett just said that she just kind of announced that her and her husband have like parted ways, and she's 30. And I was like, I sent her a little message and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that I went through
Same.
a divorce at 30, and it is like the most scary, but like free and happy and terrifying. It literally feels like you're free falling while you're learning to build pack a parachute. Like, it's so crazy, but like, you have made the right decision, and like, you know, sending you love and strength and everything, even though you don't need it, blah blah blah. But it's just so like, I don't know why, like this last like few weeks it's been coming up. I'm like, oh wow, like that was like a time.
Yeah.
I think also because we got in a fight. We kind of got in a fight with Mom about it the other day. Oh, Mom was being so annoying. Okay, first of all,
Mom, we love you.
we love you. But this is a podcast to talk about our feelings. And I think one of the things that like really bothered me when I was going through my divorce is like everyone's expectations of like how I should handle it. Mm-hmm. And Mom was one of those people who was always like anticipating a breakdown, and almost like why aren't you breaking down?
Well, and to be fair, I think we were all anticipating some kind of breakdown at some point. Mm-hmm. And I think what was hard for us to realize is that you had been the divorce had started so much earlier for you than it did for us. So we were like, wow, this is so much all at once kind of thing. Any normal person would have a breakdown. So that's what we were expecting for you. But for you had been dealing with it little piece by little piece for so long. I think that's why you didn't.
Yeah, 100%. And so the reason why Mom and I don't know if Paige filled you in. The reason why Mom and I got into it is because we were talking about how when I first came out to Austin, when Paige was dating Tyson, and I was staying with you and your ex, and we had gone out that night and we came back, and I was like, I do not like Tyson at all. And your ex was like, I fucking hate him too. And your ex is like such a like nice, fun guy, like would never say anything like that. So for him to say that, I was like, okay, like at least I know I'm not being dramatic. Like there's like other people are seeing what I'm seeing. So then when I told Mom, I was like, hey, I'm feeling some type of way about Tyson. Mom's response to that, instead of being like, oh, really? Like, what are you feeling? She's like, there are things I don't like about you or Baily's boyfriends. And I was like, oh, well, at this point, like, it's very clear my ex is like, or my then partner was a raging addict. So it's like, oh, what don't you like about mine?
No, but the point is that wasn't the point.
Yeah, like that wasn't the point. It wasn't like, in Mom, it was like, well, I thought that you were trying to like throw like us off of like talking about you for once and like bringing like attention to,
throw off the scent.
Yeah, like bring attention to Paige. But I was like, there was like, my problems were so big. There was literally nothing I could do to like throw it at attention like that to another sister. And that's not really my vibe anyways. So it's like, it was just like a very like strange. So then we just started talking about my ex husband, and Mom was like saying things like, well, I didn't like him even before I knew he was an addict. And I was like, oh, I love when people tell me that. Yeah, I've never liked him.
I did.
Well, I'm like, wow, that's news to me. Cause like,
well, I did. And it took him a lot of fuck ups for me to finally be like, fuck, okay, you're just gonna keep lying. You lied again. I fell for it. All right. Yeah. But if you do it a fourth time, damn it, you did.
Oh, you did it again.
Well, shit. Guess what? Now,
one more chance.
No, now you can't come back from it.
Yeah.
Because I was the one that was on your side.
Yeah. So it's just interesting. And like the thing that I've learned is that I think why I felt so much at peace during that like divorce time is that I truly could not think about like first of all, when I'm done. Like how you were with him, it was like, wow, this is actually the straw that broke the camel's back. Like I finally found the meaning in that.
Once that straw has broken, you cannot repair it.
Oh, now I'm ready. Because like I'd always be like, okay, when is it time to leave? Like when is it time? And it was like, oh, this is actually the time. And then also it was so scary that like I had to take it day by day. So like it was like so peaceful having like the day by day thing. Because like I truly did not know what was going to happen tomorrow, the next week, the next 30 days, the next 5 years. So I was like, nothing's going to be worse than this. Surely, right? Things did get worse, but you know, then they got better.
And now here we are.
Now here we are in Austin, Texas.
Here we are.
And then you just like kind of sit there one day and you're like 35. You're like, fuck. 30? I was like living in Newport and like I got divorced. Like that's so strange to think about.
Why did you and mom fight about it now, though?
Well, because like we fight about everything that from our past over and over and over and over again.
The thing that I don't understand why the fight was because it was like I think the biggest difference of the main thing for the continued fight was Jade saying, I don't like Tyson. And then instead of mom just like taking that information in,
being like, oh, okay.
It was like there are things that I don't like about your boyfriend and your boyfriend. And it's like, okay, but like, that's not what I'm saying, right? So it's like, so I think the problem is that Jade didn't feel heard. And then I think on the flip side, I think the reason mom deflected like that is because I think mom felt like she should have seen the same thing and stepped in sooner or something. Like I think she feels
she said that in the moment.
Well, she also feels the need to like explain where she's coming from.
I'm saying that's why the fighting was still happening because because she feels like because that was said in the moment and now knowing like what we know about, you know, Tyson's abuse. Like I think she feels like you know what I mean? Just like she feels
guilty
bad
or something.
She feels
but it's
guilty. It's not her fault. It's not anyone's fault. Like literally,
it's no one's
I was keeping
fault.
it a secret for for a reason.
No, but she did say something that was kind of crazy when she was like, "Well, I expected you both would tell me the truth about like your ex using drugs and your ex being abusive." And I was like,
literally, that was the whole point of me not telling you. Like I was very actively trying to keep that a secret from everybody in my life.
Like, okay, and also like. I didn't even know he was using drugs. So it wasn't like I was like lying to you. He was lying to literally all of us.
Do you remember when you called me and you were like, hey, like what would a suicide note sound like? And I was like, let me tell you.
And I was like, let me read this note to you. And you're like, yep, that's a suicide note.
I was like, but he just wants attention.
Yeah, you did. I still think you kind of want attention.
Here's the thing though. Suicide's real. And
maybe we should tell a story about that one day.
Yeah. And we
Teaser.
Teaser, and we're not making fun. I have mental health issues, so it's okay.
So here's the thing about us. Like, this stuff is very, very real, and we take it very, very seriously. But like, also, if you cannot laugh through the pain, then you are just going to be a miserable little wench.
And we're not going to laugh through about other people's pain. This is like we're talking about.
Well, yeah, we're only going to laugh about our pain.
Yeah.
Like,
and because I'm telling them we're not talking about other people. This is here.
Yeah. And I've been through therapy, so like I can laugh about that.
And that's what I think I like about this podcast is like, I think that is the beauty of having sisters is that you can come to your sister and it's like
you laugh about the silly things.
Well, it's like because life is funny. It's like, oh my God.
Wait,
like,
did you see that TikTok about the two girls who they're like, our mom died last year and these are all the things that we wish we could admit to her. And then one of them's like, I crashed a car. Or no, she's like, I didn't know what car insurance was.
Yeah. And she was like, and then we didn't know that we had to file your taxes. Yeah. And that's like the stuff where it's like, that's the beauty of this podcast. So if you write into us with your problems, it's like, yes, we are going to support you. And then we can all like laugh about it. Because I feel like laughing about it also like gives the situation less like gravity. It makes it more like, oh, wow, I can tackle this.
Yeah.
Like talking about like you're, you know, dealing with somebody who like truly is trying to like kill themselves every single day with drugs. Like that is not a funny thing, but now we can talk about it like, and like, you know, whew, we got through that.
We got through it. should I switch the tone to something a little lighter?
Sure.
But still laughing at it.
Is this okay to talk about?
I think so. Well, we did.
I always think about like things in TikTok and I'm like, okay, well, we cannot talk about that on TikTok because like maybe I'll put a trigger warning in our show notes. So just people like.
Trigger warning and like addiction hotline, suicide
trigger
hotline.
Warning, addiction hotline, suicide hotline. Mom, sorry, love you. But I mean, we have to talk about things that are like real to us or then what is this for?
And that's how we get through it.
Yeah. Sharp left,
guys. Here's something during our hiatus that we took, something happened to me that I just need to share with the sisters because here's the thing.
Do we know it?
You guys know it, but I haven't talked about it on the podcast because we're just now back. And the reason I'm telling this story, it's your favorite story to tell. And the reason I'm telling it is because it is so freaking funny. However, it's also so embarrassing. And I'm saying because like I don't regret doing it. So I want all of you girls out there to feel confident to shoot your shot because this is the story of when I shot my shot and I got shot down. Okay. So I don't even know how many weeks ago now I was with my friends. We were doing this putt-putt bar crawl kind of thing. So on the east side, there were several bars that were involved. They would each bar would create their own little hole in one. And then if you got a hole in one, you would get a drink ticket and you would get a free drink, whatever. So we were kind of going through, we're already running behind. So me and the people that I was with, there was my two best friends that are married. And then these two other guys, one guy I have a low-key crush on and the other guy just meeting him for the first time. What?
Low-key crush.
Well, low-key crush, like he doesn't know. I mean, he probably does. Well, he does now.
No, he does now.
But like my friends who are married, like they for sure know. That's, why they invited me. Anyways, we had already decided that, okay, we're running behind. We just need to like putt and go, whatever. Well, we did not anticipate that me and my other friend were going to both get hole-in-ones at this one bar. So we get these drink tickets. And the guy who I have the crush on, he says, okay, since we're not trying to get a drink here at this bar, you should give that drink ticket to the cutest guy in the bar. And so I take my little drink ticket and I put it in his shirt pocket. And at first, he seems a little confused. So he takes it out and he goes, no, like give it to the guy you think is the cutest in the bar. And I take it back, I put it back in and I say, I just did. Really, no, I shot my shot. I freaking doubled down. And he says, he takes it back out. He goes, oh no, not me. And I said, okay. And I grab it and I kind of turn around and thankfully.
You took the hint?
I took the hint. My guy friend, he looks at me. He's the other one that had the drink ticket. He goes, shot? I'm like, yep, let's go. And I'm just so glad that my girlfriend was standing right there the whole time because like, did this really happen? It did. Was it embarrassing? It was so embarrassing. And you know what? I just took a little shot. I shook it off and we were together for the rest of the night. And and now I know for a fact that we are like just going to be friends.
Yeah.
He has no desire to ever be anything more than friends. And you know what? I think it's great to shoot your shot, even if you get turned down. So don't be afraid. That's not going to stop me from shooting my shot the next time I want to.
I like that.
It's inspirational.
Well, because it could have gone one of two ways.
And it went one way.
And it went the other way.
I thought we would at least make out. Honestly. I thought this was going to end in a makeout. And
and the thing about that is that you don't know what is going on in his life. Like, you don't know, maybe he has a crush on another girl that you don't know about. Like, so it's really not personal. And I think like rejection's so hard in that way when you're like dating, because you think it's like, wow, like I'm this, I'm to this, I'm to that. I'm like, whatever. But it could be something that's like not even about you.
Fair. But I will say, if anyone ever did that to me, I would definitely let them down in such a better way. Like,
you would have been like, Ew.
No,
Not if it's in the friend group.
not if it's the friend group, and if we're in
So how would you have let them know?
I probably would have been like, oh my gosh, like you're so sweet, like let's go get a drink. And then we're with the group, so I feel comfortable, and it's like we're having a good time. And then after that night, if I'm asked on a date, I'm like, I just see you more as a friend.
Okay, that's
because
fair.
like what I am thankfully it was like my friends, like if I didn't know Sam as well, and if she just saw me get shot all the way down as hard
You
as
were
I
like,
did,
you're on the floor already. And he's like, one more for good measure.
yeah. It's like double shot. Like
that was good. I wish your voice was a little better so people could.
Because even she was like a little shocked. She was like, oh shit, like she had to like shake it off.
Well,
like,
it's
okay.
like it's kind of like, no offense, not to like put a little salt in the wound, but like it's kind of rare to get shot down like that, like because it should have been just like a fun little makeout,
or just like a,
that's why I think he had somebody
let's just
else
go get a drink. Like literally, like if you don't want to make out with me, that's totally fine. Like let's just, oh my gosh, like you're so sweet, like let's go get a drink.
Okay, so everyone knows like when there's a couple and then there's one of them invites a guy friend and one of them invites a girlfriend.
There were two guys, one girl.
Well, so if there's a couple and then like two guys, one girl, then it's the duty of that girl and those guys to flirt the whole time. Like it just keeps the vibe up. That's why the couple invited you. Their lives are a little boring. They need to see some action. And he just shot you down. Did you start flirting with the friend?
No.
Damn.
No, I did not. But
so wait, how's your dating? Are you on Hinge?
That's a good question. Technically I have a Hinge.
Yeah.
I'm not active on Hinge, but I need to be active on Hinge.
Why aren't you dating?
Because it's exhausting.
I feel like you have really turned into like a rigid little like
it's
girly.
Just so, I will say they have turned a little bit. I know which prompts are going to get certain responses and blah, blah, blah. And it's just annoying when I see the same responses every single time.
Yeah.
I will say one of my prompts is, don't hate me if I'm a Swiftie. And those have gotten really funny because they're like, don't hate me that I'm a Chiefs fan or something. It's like a little playful. But I just, I need to commit.
I think you need to like really commit to dating, because here's the thing. By next holiday season, if you want a boyfriend, you need to start now. Because like, think about it. If you start dating somebody, like, okay, you're not going to start like getting into the swing of dating again until probably January, because this is kind of the worst time to date.
Exactly.
So like, let's say you start January. You need to find somebody within the first 3 months of the year, because then you need to nurture that lead. So like, you have January to March to find someone. Then you have April to, let's say, I'll give you June to nurture that lead and to lock it down, because then by that time, then summer happens and everyone is just like miserable here in summer. It's miserable in Austin in summer. So then if you don't nurture that lead and lock it down by summer, then everyone's like kind of like floundering. They're getting the fuck out of here. They're going to Europe. They're going to Michigan to go to a lake house. And then by August in September, when everyone gets back, then it's like ACL, then it's F1. And now you're in November. Not to get you like unnecessary like anxiety, but
I disagree with all of that.
I will try to find some leads to put in the queue to nurture.
Yeah, like put it in Salesforce.
I'll put some peeps in the pipeline.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
And put some peeps in the pipeline.
Put some peeps in the pipeline, and then
lay down the pipe,
and then forecast who I think is going to close the deal.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, you're obviously not going to read any listener stories, but do you want us to read 1, 2, 3?
I have something for you to read.
Okay. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a listener story. Oh, God.
Is it?
Jade's lack of self-awareness is exhausting. Did you write that?
Wait, should I read it?
There was only there's more, but that one was funny.
Wow. That Aaron EECRJ. 5 stars, though. Still 5 stars.
Thank you.
The title is still 5 stars. You know what?
And you know what?
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
I feel like I do.
Wait, are you gonna read it?
That's literally what it says.
That's what it says.
Oh. I love that.
And then people were
Delusional
upset
queen.
about the long gaps. Sorry. The show feels like you're sitting in a room with your best friends / sisters. Always makes me crack up. Jade should practice reading. Jade sounds really condescending. I feel like you guys are writing these. Jade sounds really condescending when reading the questions in this last episode. What is the tone she uses when reading? LOL. Otherwise, do love and very much enjoy this podcast and the sister banter.
Thank
that
you.
was also 5 stars.
Also 5 stars.
And also, guys,
Also,
you
kiss
should
my ass.
keep giving us 5 stars and
shitting on me.
and saying whatever you want about any one of us.
Wow. I'm an era revived Swiftie. Okay. Wow, I never read these. Interesting. Top ATX sister pod.
Thank you.
You're not wrong. That is hilarious. Well, Jade drives me crazy, so I guess that makes me a Paige. Wow. You guys are fucking ruthless. You know what?
They're sisters.
They're sisters.
Honestly, I feel like our listeners are like a collective middle sister. I feel like they're always like checking me. Like they still like the podcast, thank God. But
well, because like we love you, but like sometimes you need to be checked.
I feel like I have self-awareness. Like I know I'm being annoying, but I'm also like with my sisters. If I was on any other podcast, I'd be so different because I'm like not talking to my sisters.
I wonder what us 3 would be like on any other podcast, because we would like we'd be so polite.
I know we'd be so nice and like good, and like articulate.
Oh wow, what a good point, Jade.
I came prepared.
Tell them the lovely thing that you said the other day, Jade. Like we would be so complimentary of each other.
Yeah. Well, we actually do have some podcasts that we did with guests, and we are like that.
True, but that's when
like if we're going on someone else's
I was going to say
podcast,
that's
we'd be
when they've been
extra
on
polite.
our, like if we were on someone else's podcast, like I can't even imagine the manners.
Wow. So I'm sorry that everyone hates me, and
Okay,
I'll work on it.
So we're not going to read any listener?
I think we're like out of time.
Okay, that's fine. I just have to say one thing.
What?
Or ask you a question about one thing. Don't you think it's... Sorry, it's about Taylor Swift. Can I say that?
Sure.
Okay. Don't you think that Kim K needs to stop
Doing what?
being so losery?
Why is she being losery?
You know that her Skims and what's it called?
Swarovski?
You know that was inspired by... The whole thing was inspired by Taylor's
Paige,
Bejeweled...
you're being crazy.
That's not me being... That's a fact.
Swarovski was...
That's a fact.
I think that, like, you need to calm down.
No, they said that collaboration was inspired by Taylor Swift's, like, necklace from the Bejeweled video when she was with, like, what's her name?
Dita Von Teese.
Dita Von Teese. I was going to say
But why is that Kim being losery? Like, you don't know.
Because she's been mentioning or leaving little, like, hints to Taylor Swift for the past year. And it's like, honey, this friendship is never going to mend. Let it go.
I think it's mended.
No, it's not.
Behind the scenes.
No, I think Taylor, out of sight, out of mind.
No, I think that they've honestly made up behind the scenes.
Why wasn't she at the Eras tour?
Because if she came to the Eras tour, then they would have to address that they mended the situation. I think that it's like, okay, we're cool, but like publicly, like let's let it air out a little bit. You have a mental illness sometimes with Taylor.
Agreed. Okay.
We just had to end on one little fight, a little spat.
Yeah, just a little spit.
Keep it spicy.
Little spit spat.
All right, end it.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Your Poor Dad. Please email us any stories, crazy stories, wild stories, advice that you have for us at yourpoordad@gmail.com. Also, please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Your Poor Dad Pod. And what I really liked this episode is this little segment of Jade reading the reviews. Make sure that you leave a 5-star review, and then you can say whatever you want in the comments. And you know what? Maybe we'll start reading those.
Interesting.
And also, now more than ever, I need you guys to listen to me. Now more than ever, we need you to bring us more sisters, because shit is going on, guys. And we have some great, exciting things behind the scenes, but none of that's going to happen unless we get more sisters, you know? So more sisters, more sisters.
More sisters.
Baily, anything?
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.